Tonight, on Legislative Review. A look at the week ahead. Plus, doubling penalties on traffic infractions. And a debate over the exemptions of certain real estate transaction fees. This is Legislative Review. Thank you for watching Legislative Review. I'm Angela Nolasco with today's top discussions in the state legislature. Week 9 of the 15-week 2025 legislative session begins Monday, March 10th. The week starts off with more floor debate. House and Senate floor action, which started last week, continues this week with a major deadline looming. 5 p.m. on Wednesday, March 12 is known as House of Origin floor cutoff. It's the deadline for the full House to vote on House bills and the Senate to vote on Senate bills.
Hearing no objection, the Senate now stands adjourned.
With the exception of budgets and budget-related bills. Often, the House and/or Senate will schedule a special order of business just before 5 p.m. That's a bill majority Democrats want to get passed. And as long as the debate begins before 5 p.m., it can continue past the 5 o'clock deadline until the debate on that final bill is finished.
Good morning. The House Education Committee will come to order.
After that, it's back to Policy Committee hearings for Thursday and Friday. But there is a change. In this next round of hearings, it will be House Policy Committees holding hearings on Senate bills, meaning bills that have won approval from the full Senate. And, likewise, Senate committees will be hearing House-approved bills. On Legislative Review, we'll follow all the action, bringing you a sample of some of the bills approved during floor debate, then switching to coverage of committee hearings later in the week. Keep your eyes on the road and your foot light on the gas. To make roads safer, according to state senators who discussed a bill that could impact how repeat traffic offenders are penalized.
Senate Bill 5705, the Secretary will read.
Enacting to improving traffic safety by modifying penalty amounts for certain traffic infractions.
Senate Bill 5705, which was debated on the floor Monday morning, is cracking down on dangerous driving behaviors, like speeding, following too closely, and using your phone while driving, by hitting repeat offenders with tougher penalties. Here's what the bill would do if enacted. If you get caught with certain traffic infractions more than once within 2 years, the fine for your second or third offense will double. For example, a $48 base fine for speeding could jump to nearly $100 for a second offense. But that's not all. The bill targets one of the biggest distractions on the road, being on your phone. If you're caught using your device in a school or playground zone, the fine will automatically double, even if it's your first offense. This penalty can't be reduced or waived by the court. The message is clear. When kids are around, keep your hands off your phone. While penalties will be tougher, the bill gives judges some flexibility. They can lower the doubled fines, but they can't reduce them below what a first-time offender would pay. So there's still room for the courts to consider individual circumstances. Courts will also offer payment plans for those who need them, so those with multiple fines can manage those costs. Supporters say it will encourage safer driving habits, especially in areas like school zones where kids cross the street. The bill has bipartisan sponsorship, with Democratic Senator Marco Lias at the helm.
We are at, unfortunately, still record high levels of fatalities on our highways in Washington state. This is one small step towards trying to provide accountability for folks who are not following the rules, particularly if you violate the law twice or more within a 2-year period. You will pay a higher penalty, and hopefully that will help change behavior and help us reduce fatalities on our highways.
Also speaking in support, Republican Senator Curtis King.
There are consequences. There should be consequences, and that's what this bill is about. For those that want to commit these infractions, I ask the body to support this bill. Thank you.
The Senate voted on the bill.
Mr. President, there are 48 yea, 1 nay.
Having received a constitutional majority, Senate Bill 5705 is declared passed. The title of the bill will be the title of the act.
Senate Bill 5705 passed and will be reviewed next in the House of Representatives. On the House floor,
House Bill 1858. The clerk will read.
A contentious debate over a measure proposing a change to certain real estate transaction fees to fund affordable housing and homeless services. House Bill 1858 seeks to remove the exemptions on deeds of trust for two fees: the $183 housing and homelessness document recording surcharge and the $100 covenant homeownership program assessment. The document recording fee was created decades ago to fund homeless shelters. It increased over time to fund homeless services, affordable housing, and the covenant homeownership account, which seeks to address the historical racial segregation of homes in the state. Removing the exemptions means more money going into these programs, which supporters say is essential, as revenues from these fees have dropped partly due to a slowdown in the housing market. Housing advocates say it will provide a more sustainable revenue stream, a 7% increase in funds for homeless services and low-income housing. Democratic Representative Sean Scott, who sponsored the bill, believes banks and financial institutions should pay their share of the fee.
Everyday Washingtonians who scraped and clawed their way into homeownership have had to pay the document record fee. Black and brown homeowners who at one point in time were segregated from black and brown, or from many residential neighborhoods in our state, had to pay the record fee. Desperate homeowners who sold a home, separated themselves from a cherished place of residence in order to avoid a foreclosure during the Great Recession, all paid the document record fee. The underlying problem that this bill seeks to address and to solve is the fact that, by and large, Mr. Speaker, big banks have not had to pay the document record fee. That's because of an innocuous-seeming loophole that this bill seeks to close.
However, critics argue that the bill will increase the cost for homeowners and make housing more unaffordable. Speaking in opposition, Republican Representative Cindy Jacobson said the legislature has to look at the state's housing supply instead of focusing on regulatory costs.
And we have heard that this fee will not be paid by everyday homeowners who have scraped and clawed their way to owning a house, Mr. Speaker. It will indeed be paid by those people because the banks have to pay their employees, they have to make a profit for their shareholders, and they have to make things pencil out. So this fee will go straight to our mortgage costs of people who are indeed scraping and clawing to try to get a home. In the last 10 years, we've had a 10x increase in spending on housing and homelessness. And possibly, Mr. Speaker, we are misdirecting some of that spending on housing and homelessness because the situation has not improved.
The House voted on the bill.
Mr. Speaker, there are 51 yeas, 42 nays, 5 excused.
Having received a constitutional majority, House Bill 1858 is declared passed.
House Bill 1858 passed and will be up for consideration in the Senate. Thanks for joining us tonight. To watch an entire legislative hearing or floor debate, check out TVW's archives on-demand viewing at tvw.org.